Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Ahsoka's final few episodes have plunged Star Wars into witchcraft, necromancy, and magic with a K, which, going by how my parents spelled my name, is never a good sign. The series just dropped a huge revelation that the Dathomiri, the Nightsister witches that include Morgan Elsbeth, Maul's mother, Mother Talzin, and from Jedi Fallen Order, Nightsister Merrin, are part of a lineage that did not originally come from this galaxy, but emigrated to the planet of Dathomir from their original home of Peridea in another galaxy. A race of witches from another galaxy? The three remaining witches on Peridea are cooking up something magical for Thrawn that probably involves his night troopers and some corpses. In this video, I'm gonna explain why the Dathomiri migrated from Peridea to this galaxy, why some of them stayed, what they're most afraid of, and what we have the most to fear from them. Now, before I begin, a huge new detail that I have to explain that was pointed out to me by Tommy J. Wall on Twitter. So in my episode 6 Easter egg breakdown, I spotted the written text on the fortress wall, and I brought up the Sith language of Urkatat, but Tommy shared that if you rotate it 180 degrees, these letters actually translate from Urkatat to the following phrase: praise Kujet, ruler of all, may his reign last for probably all time. Huge thanks to Tommy Wall, and for anyone else who figured this out. I guess I should have stayed up till 4 a.m. instead of giving up at 3 a.m. or maybe spent less time looking at freaking hyperspace for blurs in the shape of an N1 Naboo starfighter. But Kujet was the name of a Zeffo sage and ruler. The Zephonians were an ancient race from the game Jedi Fallen Order, and Kujet established a palace on the planet Dathomir and used the dark side of the Force, what the Zephonians called the life wind. Kujet had promised his followers to share his knowledge, but he was very cruel and staged a massacre in his palace. Actually, in the character poster of Thrawn released on Thursday, you can see this Urkatat more clearly. So yeah, it sounds like the Zeffo built this fortress on Peridea as well, which is interesting because Zeffo is supposed to be an outer rim planet in the main galaxy, but based on this palace appearing on Peridea, it tells us that the Zephonians must have also traveled this pathway to Peridea to this other galaxy, met the Nightsisters, and established this palace years before Thrawn got here, and then maybe died out sometime after. Or it's possible that the people of Zeffo came from Peridea, made this journey from Peridea with the Nightsisters to Dathomir, but I guess Morgan Elsbeth just seemed to claim that Peridea was uniquely the home to the Dathomiri. But she did say that the Dathomiri were one of the early races to master Purgal hyperspace travel. It's just not clear yet which direction this went, but clearly the two peoples were connected. And this tells us that the Nightsisters have a long history of providing dark magic counsel to several generations of invaders whom they inevitably outlast. Like before it was Thrawn, it was the Separatists, and before the Separatists, it was the people of Zeffo. And the Nightsisters are the survivors. So let's do a deep dive into these surviving witches. The Witches of Dathomir were originally introduced in the 1994 novel The Courtship of Princess Leia by Dave Wolverton. For years, they had been considered part of the legend side of the Star Wars lore, but the Clone Wars series introduced a coven of Nightsisters led by Mother Talzin on the planet of Dathomir, Talzin being the mother of MAUL. These Nightsisters had white and gray faces, they wore red robes, using designs originally conceived for the Sith in the Phantom Menace film, but the sorcery they wielded had long been considered to be dark side-ish in nature, connected to the Force, but neither Jedi nor Sith. Something independent, something else entirely. The canonical history of Dathomir and the Nightsisters had previously been compiled from a variety of sources, like Collapse of the Jedi RPG game sourcebook that included an apocryphal account of a Jedi Council outcast named Alia, who supposedly founded the Coven on Dathomir, but the Nightsisters themselves had always had their own legends about their origins. In Clone Wars, we learned that Mother Talzin united all the Nightsister clans on Dathomir and had worked closely with Darth Sidious to learn secrets about the Force from the Sith, but Sidious betrayed her and took her son, Maul, taking him on as his Sith apprentice. Now, Talzin had actually given birth to Maul, as well as his brother Savage Opress, and another Night brother named Farrell. But these brothers were all the native Dathomirian race of Zabrak, with the interesting skin patterns and the horns. The Nightsisters were not Zabrak in race, and Ahsoka Episode 6 finally explains why. They were not native to Dathomir, they were Dathomiri from the planet Peridea in another galaxy, migrated to this galaxy, and set up shop at a planet later known as Dathomir, named after their race, not the other way around. Now, Clone Wars revisits the planet Dathomir a number of times, as the Dooku Acolyte, Asajj Ventress, was originally part of the Nightsisters. Maul returns there, of course, when his half-robotic form is found by his brother Savage, and Talzin and the Nightsisters use sorcery to reanimate Maul's legs. The Nightsisters sent Savage after Dooku at one point, and in Clone Wars Season 4 Episode 19 Massacre, General Grievous retaliated, destroying their fortress and a majority of Nightsisters in the Battle of Dathomir. During this battle, Nightsister Old Daka resurrects an army of the dead, militarizing undead zombie Nightsisters. But this plan fails, and the Nightsisters lose the battle, and the only survivors really are Ventress, who gets baptized as the Nightsister at this point, Talzin, and a few others we later learn about, like Merrin from Jedi Fallen Order and Morgan Elsbeth. Talzin would later die in the events of the Maul Son of Dathomir comics while trying to work with Maul to kill Sidious and and Dooku. Now the Ahsoka series is extending the Nightsister lore, redefining them as the oldest known civilization in Star Wars canonical history, predating, it sounds like, the Zephonians explored in Jedi Fallen Order, as well as predating the Jedi and the Sith, perhaps even older than races like the Rakatans, invaders who invented hyperspace technology, introduced in Knights of the Old Republic, and confirmed in Andor to be somewhat canon. Now, longtime New Rockstars viewers know how much we use Geologie and how long we've been using it for, but if this is your first time hearing about Geologie, get ready for blockbuster quality skincare on a student film budget. Geologie is a 23-time award-winning skin, hair, and body care company recognized in Men's Health, Oprah Daily, Hypebeast, Birdie, Esquire, and GQ. Geologie's products are just a handful of powerful, proven ingredients that have been trusted by dermatologists for decades. Geologie can help you fight acne, reduce oiliness, prevent wrinkles, combat dark or puffy under eyes, have smoother, hydrated skin, and target signs of aging. Everything you need to keep your skin healthy, no matter how much you soak in the pool this summer. Don't know where to start? Geologie can create a simple and effective skincare or hair care routine for you. All you gotta do is take a quick 30-second quiz. Right now, if you use the code NewRockstars100, Geologie will give you 100% off their award-winning skincare trial set. You'll also get an additional bonus offer of up to 30% off one skin, hair, or body products when you add it to your trial. It's truly a wild offer, one of the best they've ever given our audience. So click the link in the description or go to geolog.ie/rockstars100 to get started. In Ahsoka Episode 1, Morgan tells Baylan and Shin about the Temple on Arcana.
What was this place?
An ancient temple built by my ancestors, the Nightsisters of Dathomir.
You're a witch.
A survivor.
In Episode 6, they complete the pathway to Peridea.
The ancient homeworld of my ancestors, the Dathomiri.
And Morgan says that the Nightsisters have a long history with the Purgle hyperspace whales.
My people were among the first to harness and ride the creatures in the days before time was counted.
The Peridea surface, we find out, is a wasteland dotted with these tall pillars that evoke the columns on Malachor in Rebels Season 2 finale. Each column, though, is topped with a ghoulish Nightsister statue head, mouths contorted open in a permanent scream. Morgan unites with the three great mothers named Clotho, Lachesis, and Actropod, named after the three fates of Greek mythology, aka the Moirai. And in my episode breakdown, I pointed out how their headdresses might reflect the Greek mythological functions of the fate who spins the thread with a single pointed needle and the fate who cuts the thread with shears. These great mothers can sense future events, calling it the thread of fate, and they are particularly disgusted with the Jedi.
It reeks of Jedi.
It is dangerous.
Later in the episode, Baylan and Shin discuss how the great mothers are desperate to leave Peridea.
They seem eager to leave this place. Maybe we should too.
And in the final scene of this episode, Thrawn drops some interesting words about the Nightsisters.
Death and resurrection are common deceptions played out by both Nightsister and Jedi.
And learning that Ahsoka is approaching, he asks,
I shall once again require the aid of your dark magic.
The thread of destiny demands it, Grand Admiral.
So the coffins that Thrawn's stormtroopers moved from the Peridean catacombs to his Star Destroyer, the Chimera, seem to be part of a Nightsister plot to do what Old Daka and Mother Talzin did, to resurrect an army of the dead. Marok was revealed to be a Nightbrother corpse made up of green Nightsister sorcery. That dirty, broken, beat-up look of these stormtroopers seems to be a nod to the Night Troopers from the Legends book Death Troopers from Joe Schreiber. Troopers that were infected with a kind of zombie virus. The red bandages that wrap up these troopers might be part of their sorcery, not just to hold their armor together, but to hold their bodies together. Thrawn indicated that his numbers were dwindling and was reluctant to send out more than 2 units to support Baylan and Shin, and I think that is why. These troopers may all be dead and rotting underneath that armor. I think these stormtroopers are zombified corpses animated by Nightsister sorcery, and the coffins contain corpses of past Nightsisters and Nightbrothers that the Great Mothers plan to reanimate as well. But the big mystery is why the Nightsisters originally left Peridea for the galaxy we know, with the planet Dathomir. My theory is that they could be descended from the 5 priestesses of the Wellspring of Life, the origin of midichlorians, which was explored by Yoda in Clone Wars Season 6. I like the idea of an evil 6th priestess that was exiled to Peridea, or maybe even the priestess that represented the emotion of sadness because her mouth is stretched open just like those statues on the planet of Peridea, and that this priestess's followers always wanted to get back to that Garden of Eden because that wellspring seemed to be unique to the main galaxy. So by that logic, does Peridea, a graveyard planet in a different galaxy where Purgle go to die, does that place have a shortage or a lack of midichlorians? That would limit the witch's power because midichlorians are how we connect to the Force, and that might explain why only 3 can live there at any given time, and the rest would have to migrate closer to the epicenter of the cosmic force. In fact, that might be why Morgan Elsbeth called herself a survivor. So what new magic is Thrawn requesting from the Great Mothers? We still do not know who exactly pulled Ahsoka into the world between worlds, and what exactly Anakin was. This could have been the result of Nightsister sorcery, which was burned into Ahsoka's hand by that Nightsister spear. Now, maybe Thrawn wants the Great Mothers to send Ahsoka back into the world between worlds to reconfront another past foe. Information that he could get by Morgan Elsbeth digging up everything that she can find on Ahsoka. And that foe would be someone the Nightsisters have a history with, MAUL. And then instead of the blue watery texture of the world between worlds, this time it could be red and fiery. We will see. Please support our channel by grabbing an Ahsoka inspired Fulcrum shirt available at nerdriot.shop. Please subscribe to the Break Room for episodes of Wookiee Leaks, our Ahsoka after show. You can subscribe to all 3 channels on the New Rockstars network. Follow me at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.